That was probably the only goal that we wanted, to make it to soccer ball. I know it's a big dream, it's a big goal, but I always felt that we were good enough to get there, yes.
There was no need for anyone to say, are you going to win this game? We went out there, and with the gut feeling from inside, we knew we were going to win the game. We were not going to lose.
Well, it was really a dream come true for everybody. I think from our own family and from all the fans. It was an exciting year, and one in which to this day, I sit and I do my exercises sometimes watching old tapes of the Sting winning that championship.
Sports Channel presents the year of the Big Sting, the story of the champion 1981 Chicago Sting. It's been 10 years since the Chicago Sting set the entire Chicago area abuzz with its North American Soccer League Championship in the Soccer Bowl of 1981. Hi, everybody. I'm Howard Balson. It was a campaign that began with a very exciting overtime win in Tulsa, and that was to be the first of 23 victories during the regular season. And, of course, that was followed by 3 absolutely incredible playoff series that led to the Sting's victory over the New York Cosmos in the Soccer Bowl. The Sting, in fact, had 3 great games against the New York Cosmos in 1981, the first of which came on May 17th at the Meadowlands.
Carl is saying that Eskandarian started to break inside the 10-yard mark. They must give the free kicker 10 yards. Granitza, his shot, it's good! He did it again! He did it again! Carl Heinz Granitza, his 6th goal of the year off a free kick.
The 3-2 Sting overtime win featured 2 of the team's most exciting goals of the season. Karl Heinz Granitza got things underway midway through the first half with his free kick score past goalie Hubert Birkenmeyer. Then, 10 minutes later, it was Pato Marhetic celebrating his 21st birthday in a mighty big way.
Around Eskandarian, Sanino trying to sneak up, can't do it. Granitza gets it now. There's the lead to Marhetic. Marhetic has the word on Jairusi. Shoots, score! Pato Marhetic! Happy birthday, Marhetic!
We were coming home from New York airport, and all of a sudden, Rudy drove me around town, and I asked him, what are we doing here? And he said, well, you're gonna have to come with me. And I said, okay, now, would you take me home? And my wife had a surprise party for me, and everybody was there, all the Sting players, the coach, everybody was there. And that was the best game that I remember that it happened. It was great.
Besides the spectacular goals, the game additionally featured some key saves down the stretch by Sting goalie Phil Parks. This was also a contest filled with controversy, as both Ingo Peter and Coach Willie Roy of the Sting were red-carded and ejected. They had to play much of the second half and overtime shorthanded. Despite that, it was Granitza's 2nd free kick score in the overtime that brought Chicago the victory. Did that game start to give you some ideas about walking home with the cup?
Well, it certainly gave me some ideas that we were headed in the right direction. We felt that we could handle the Cosmos. We had a great record against them. You took a look at the team. We had an experienced team. Willie Roy had matured as a coach, and I think that was a very, very important factor. Our young American players were nothing short of sensational during that season.
While that game at the Meadowlands was exciting, the degree of excitement was mild compared to the rematch between the Sting and Cosmos 6 weeks later. That was truly high drama at its best.
Vikas fakes it. Now he moves to Marhetic. Oh, kicked away by Durgan, but Davey Huson is there. Davey back into the box. Back to Marhetic. Back to Davey Huson coming in. Shot to score. Davey Huson with a beautiful give and go with Pato Marhetic. He scores his 2nd goal of the year, and now, Roy, the Sting leads it 2-0.
It was a hot, sultry Sunday, June 28th at Chicago's Wrigley Field, one of 2 home fields for the Sting, along with Comiskey Park. The more than 30,000 people on hand had no idea early in the game they were watching one of the great outdoor soccer matches ever played. With the score tied at 2 late in the first half, it was Charlie Ficus who put the home team ahead at halftime.
Up in the air, Ficus fighting for it. Charlie wins it. Charlie coming, keeper's out. He shot. Score! As Charlie fired the ball below Hubert Birkenmeyer.
The end-to-end action continued after the intermission, with goalkeepers Birkenmeyer of the Cosmos and Dieter Ferner of the Sting each coming up with several great saves. Ferner had recently become Chicago's #1 keeper.
Milkovic again with the interception. Ivan coming. Granitsa's breaking. He taps it up to Steffenhagen. Arno in the restraining circle. Shot. Score! Arno Steffenhagen. Caught
After Steffenhagen's score gave the Sting a 2-goal lead, the Cosmos quickly came back. First, it was the legendary Giorgio Canaglia, who cut the margin to 4-3. New York was far from through, and within a minute later, the game was tied on a score by Julio Romero. But the Sting showed that they could also strike like lightning.
There's a bullet. Ingo Peter has just given the Sting a lead. What a rocket. Ingo
That score
Peter.
by Peter appeared to give the Sting the victory, but New York still wasn't quite finished. And when Ivan Buljan reached the back of the net with just 42 seconds left to tie the score at 5 apiece, this classic contest was headed for overtime.
It was just end-to-end action, and it was just absolutely great to see all those people motivated, involved. There was no way that this team was going to quit and lose that game for our fans.
The Sting had several good chances in the extra session, but Birkenmeyer was quick as a cat in goal and wouldn't let anything get past him. The game next moved into a shootout. The Cosmos Sanino put his team ahead after the first round of the 5-round shootout. In the second round, Rudy Glenn got the call.
Down, here comes Rudy. He's got 5 seconds to get the shot away. Keeper's out, a shot, and he scores! Rudy Glenn up
After
into
the Cosmos failed in round 3, Davey Hewson was next for the Sting.
Unfortunately, he also gets Houston's leg. Not intentionally, but unfortunately. He's reaching for the ball, he doesn't get it. Houston trips, and so now, as you would with any foul called in the penalty area, it's a one-on-one situation with the goalie. This is what we call a penalty shot in soccer.
And Hewson beats him up into the far right corner.
Once the Sting took the shootout lead, Ferner made certain it wouldn't be tied again. Competing in his first ever shootout situation, he next stopped Larry Hulser. Then it was the immortal Canaglia, ready to take his turn.
A shot, saved by Bernier, it's over! It's over, Bernier is stopped! Giorgio Canaglia, the Sting wins it by a score of 6-5. What a finish, Roy!
It was the Sting's second straight win over the Cosmos in their only 2 regularly scheduled games of the season. If they were to play again, it would be in the Soccer Bowl championship. We'll be back to look at the playoffs leading up to the Soccer Bowl right after a break. After finishing the regular season with 23 wins and 9 losses to win the league's Central Division, the Sting met the Seattle Sounders in round 1 of the playoffs. The teams had split 2 games during the regular season, and Coach Roy was concerned.
They were a bad team for us to play, Howard. We lost 2-0 in Seattle, and I don't think we had a shot on goal. I mean, it was really unbelievable.
The best-of-3 series opened at Comiskey Park, and the Sting quickly took the lead early in the first half.
Inside the 35 to Pato Marhetic, the magic man working toward the top of the box. Pato in control. Pato drives it now to Granitsa in the center circle, looking for a shot. Breaks around, leaves it back to Pato. Pato now is double-teamed, goes with Ficus to Marhetic. A shot, a score! A magnificent goal by the Sting! Magnificent goal!
But the Sounders proved very tough this Sunday afternoon at Comiskey, and by early in the second half held a 2-1 lead. Enter the Sting's German connection of Ingo Peter and Karl-Heinz Granitsa to ride to the rescue with quick back-to-back scores.
Ingo Peter outside the restraining circle, tries the shot. He scores! Ingo Peter has tied it up! He broke to the top of the restraining circle, and he hit a left-footed bullet into the back of the net. There's a shot by Granitsa. He scores! That was Karl-Heinz Granitsa! He just came in inside the 35-yard line. He drove a left-footed shot into the far corner, and with 6:56 to go, the Sting has taken a 3-2 lead.
After losing 3 days later in Seattle, it was back to Chicago for the rubber match of the series at Wrigley. And the Sting began play in the second half, not only trailing 1-0, but were playing a man short without Arno Steffenhagen, who had been ejected late in the first half. This adversity seemed to make the Sting even hungrier.
Mr. Carpenter is clearing the penalty area. Here comes the kick, and it's into the net. Two-ball game. It's all tied up at 1.
They tied the score early in the second half on a penalty kick by Derek Spaulding past Seattle keeper Paul Hammond. Then, 5 minutes later, it was Mr. Reliable with the go-ahead goal.
Chicago with the ball out on the right wing in the attack third. Into the penalty area. David Dish puts a header on in front of Granitza. Shot scored! Granitza puts Chicago playing a man short out in front.
And it was Granitza later on with the assist on the Sting's insurance score.
But it's back again to the foot of Hahn. He turns, feeds it to Granitza. Knocked away from Granitza. Picked up, loose ball shot. Scored!
That goal by Ficus proved to be the winner as Seattle tallied late in the game, but the Sting held on for a dramatic 3-2 win to advance. Next up, Le Manique de Montreal, opening up before 50,000 people at Olympic Stadium, and it didn't take the Sting long to get started.
Granitza into the ball. There he bends it. He scores! Karl Heinz Granitza has bent the ball into the far corner of the net. His 10th free kick goal, and the Sting leads it 1-0.
If you think Manique keeper Bob Brigby was shaking his head after the Granitza score, he hadn't seen anything yet.
It's at Ingo Peter. Gets away from Tony Tower. Ingo drives a long one. He scored! An unbelievable shot by Ingo Peter.
Oh, what a
Incredible shot from outside the 35-yard line. Ingo
That
Peter.
unbelievable rocket by Peter had the Sting believing they'd play spoilers to the Manique fans' big party. But one-time Sting player Gordon Hill cut the deficit to 2-1 before halftime, and it was anyone's game. The second half proved to be most bizarre. First, there was the seam score to tie the game.
The odd part of that was, before the game started, I protested the location of the goal at Montreal's Olympic Stadium because that seam was in front, right in front of the goalkeeper. And it was like it was something that was ordained to be. We lost that. Of course, we came back and won the next 2 games.
Then came the key injury to Sting goalie Dieter Ferner when he was fouled by Tom Sanusian.
All right, there's Usian. All right, now Dieter goes up for the ball. I know.
He took an elbow right in the head by Usian.
Ferner wound up having to leave the game, and Paul Coffey came in to replace him. Within 10 minutes, Alan Willie of the Manique picked up a loose ball and drilled home the winner on a play where Montreal definitely appeared to be offside. Roy's protest to the officials fell on deaf ears, and the goal stood, giving the Manique a 3-2 win. The Sting came back to even the series with a balanced attack, leading to a 4-2 win in the second game. The decisive match at Comiskey Park featured a special guest brought in for the honorary first kick. It was Chicago's well-known Billy Goat. He's a direct descendant of the same goat who had been denied admittance to Wrigley Field in the 1945 World Series and is believed to have put a hex on the Cubs.
Well, 1945, when a Billy Goat took a goat to the Cubs park, kicked the goat out. Billy Goat asked Mr. Wrigley, he says, why? He says, the goat smells. Well, later on, the Cubs lost the World Series, and Billy Goat sent a telegram. He says, who smells now?
Things started out on a good note for the Sting when Granitza scored 20 minutes into the contest. Was the Billy Goat already jinxing the Manique?
Oh, that's some kind of luck, huh?
The goat that was out here before the game.
Oh, yeah.
The goat.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But when Montreal scored midway through the first half, then very early in the second half on a goal again by Hill, the Sting trailed 2-1. It stayed that way until 9 minutes remained when the Sting struck in threes. First, John Tima tied it. Then Steffenhagen put Chicago ahead to stay. And Franz Mathieu added an insurance tally by finishing off a long run with some incredible maneuvering and a goal, as the Sting won 4-2 to move into the league semifinals.
Little Goat help us a little bit. He's a lucky guy. He limp a little bit, but he have a nice shot with the left foot. And in my mind, is he help a little bit? I thinking, come on, Goat, help us, and that's why we win this game.
Next came the San Diego Sockers, whom the Sting had beaten in their only matchup of the regular season. But when the teams met in Game 1 of the semifinal series, it was the Sockers with the upper hand, 2-1. The Sting's only score was actually a San Diego misplay by Eric Geyer.
An own goal! The Sting has scored on an own goal! A San Diego defender, Eric Geyer, has just hit the ball in the back of his own net!
So the Sting found themselves in a similar situation to the Montreal series, down by a game, coming back home for 2. Like true champs, they responded in Game 2 of the series with a 2-1 victory at Comiskey. Pato Marhetic came through with a brilliant performance. His quickness here led to a Sting score. So it all came down to one final game to determine if the Sting would advance to the Soccer Bowl.
When you get the Soccer Bowl, like the World Series or the Super Bowl, you know, it took a whole season to get there, and you're in there, and you're either the #1 team or the #2 team. But you have to get to the championship. And to get to the championship, we had to beat San Diego in sudden death, and probably, along with that 6-5 game against the Cosmos, here was a 0-0 game that had all the aspects of the 6-5 game, and it was even more important. I think that probably is the game that stands out in my mind the most.
And when you look back on it, that third and decisive contest against the Sockers before a crowd of 40,000 still stands out in many people's minds. It was a shutout duel between standout goalkeepers Ferner and San Diego's Volkmar Gross. The game remained scoreless through regulation and overtime, leading to another shootout. And when Davy Huson tied the shootout round at 2 goals each, the crowd went wild. Then, in the final round of the shootout, it was the Sockers' Martin Donnelly, with Ferner coming out and making another brilliant stop. That left it up to Mati, who hadn't attempted a shootout kick all season. But he cleverly deked Gross out of position and slammed home the game winner.
Yes, I was confident, you know, to shoot to make that shootout, because I asked the coach so many times, let me go, I have the shoot, you know, and then he told me, okay, Fans, go, and then I just went and then I did it.
It was electrifying, and I think the whole city got behind this team, which was really so special. From the mayor at the time, Mayor Byrne did a great job for us at the time, and you know, and everybody else, you could go on the street. We had some flamboyancy on this team. We had players that could really interact with the community. It was part of Chicago. It seemed we belonged in Chicago, and the team fought for the city and, you know, for the whole area.
We'll show you the Sting and Cosmos in the Soccer Bowl after this break.
There was magic in that ballpark. We both felt it.
A rainy night at Toronto's Exhibition Stadium. The Sting knew they had a big battle on their hands. It's always tough to beat a quality team 3 times in a season, but they were optimistic.
I'm confident, you know, because I know we beat Cosmos twice this year. I think we can make it again, you know, because if we did it twice, we could do it again.
Right, if you do it twice, you can do it 3 times,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Pato, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
I think we'll win again, no problem.
Granitza said he might even try something new.
Yeah, maybe everybody expect Granitza have just a left foot or just a free kick. I can score with the head ball, I can score with the right foot. Maybe I try this today.
We might see you going to the right then, huh?
Today I going maybe more times to the right than everybody expect.
And while many people expected this to be another high-scoring Sting-Cosmos battle, they were in for a surprise. It proved to be another goalkeeper's battle, matching Ferner and Birkenmeyer. The netminders traded big save after big save, once again through regulation and overtime, and into yet another shootout. Who would Roy choose for these crucial kicks? Marhetic led off, made his run, but was stopped by Birkenmeyer, to the delight of the many New York fans on hand. Next came Sanino, who had scored a shootout goal in the classic June 28th game at Wrigley Field, but he was stopped this time by Ferner. Roy sent Derek Spaulding to the line. His shot went wide left, and the extra session remained scoreless. Now came the great Canalia, and Sting fans were very concerned, but he was also wide to the left with his shot. When would someone score? Peter, noted for his rocket shot, was next, but he was also stopped by Birkenmeyer. And that brought up Vladislav Bogicevic.
Now, Bogi will do something different. He'll start not from the center, but slightly to the left, because, of course, he is left-footed, and you might expect to see him try and curl this ball over.
Plenty of time.
He's done it. Exactly what
Sting down by a goal. Next sent out Granitza, their leading scorer all season long, and he came through like a champ, beating the diving Birkenmeyer. Ivan Bulyan tried to put the Cosmos back in front with a different idea, but Ferner leaped high to bat away the chip shot, and the score remained tied. That sent the shootout into round 5.
and Roy chose Rudy Glenn, the young American player out of Indiana University, who had also scored a shootout goal June 28th against the Cosmos.
What made you choose Rudy Glenn?
Well, Rudy's kind of cocky as a person. I don't think he was afraid to try anything. He had the kind of attitude that say, Coach, put me in there, I'll get the job done, don't worry about anything. And that was really a winning attitude.
You know, I was doing the job that I was expected to do at that time. When I think about all the thoughts and process of what was going on in my mind before I was being able to take this shot on goal, it's blank. There are no memories. It was full concentration at that time to put the ball in the back of the net one way or another. Of course, the joy of seeing the ball go in the net was, I remember that. But anything beforehand, it's almost like a blank, total silence, and just concentrating on one thing.
Rudy Glenn. Here's Glenn with the shot, and the deflection, it's in the net.
Well, fortunately for myself, it's something that's in my history, and it's going to be something that I'll always remember. I'll never forget it, and I look at that as a bright spot of my career that I had.
The Sting now led, but it was still far from over. The Cosmos' Bobby Iarusci, the Sting's Ferner, and millions of others, either on hand or watching on national television, awaited New York's chance to tie the score.
Here comes the kick. If he makes it, they're still tied. If he misses, it's over. Chicago has won. The Chicago Sting has won their first professional sports championship since 1963. This group of men under the leadership of Willie Roy takes it to a shootout. Rudy Glenn scores, Bob Iarusci misses, and the Sting are the 1981 Soccer Bowl champions.
I was paralyzed like everybody else, I think. I felt confident. Dieter Ferner just had such a sensational season for us. He was undefeated in 7 shootout games up until that time, and this made it the 8th one. I really felt confident that we were going to win it at that point.
The Sting had won the championship of the North American Soccer League, and when they arrived home the next day, thousands of people were on hand at O'Hare Airport to greet them.
It may sound corny, and I know the New York writers poo-pooed all of it, but I'm telling you right now, this team played for the fans of Chicago, and the fans of Chicago responded. It's just unbelievable.
Willie, could it be a championship trophy for the city of Chicago?
Well, we have to prove over here. We have it over here.
And it's a great thing to be here now with all the people, and we love the people from Chicago, and now we know they love us too, and that's a really great feeling. And everybody's happy to be here in Chicago and to play for the Chicago Sting.
That was followed several days later by a gigantic downtown parade and championship ceremony at Daley Plaza. Mayor Jane Byrne thanked them on behalf of all Chicagoans and later joined the Sting at a victory luncheon. It had truly been a great team effort, as 3 former Sting players now reflect back to the glory of a decade ago.
That whole season was really something. From the first game against Tulsa, coming from behind, it seemed like we did that a lot that year.
We got a team that cost probably $1.5 million, and the New York come out to town and it cost like $25 million. And I mean, that was the big upset that I ever see in my life against, any big leaders team.
I almost feel as if you didn't even need the coach for that final game. There was no need for anyone to say, are you going to win this game? We went out there, and with the gut feeling from inside, we knew we were going to win the game. We were not going to lose.
I just really liked coming back all the time, how we were behind a lot. And in the final, that was the highlight, beating the Cosmos because they were supposed to be better than us.
For our town is #1 now, thanks to the Chicago Sting. Thanks to you, Chicago Sting.
So there you have it, the year of the Big Sting. 1981 was indeed a soccer season to remember for the Sting and their many fans. But it wasn't the team's only outdoor title. They also captured the crown in 1984, beating the Toronto Blizzard in the first 2 games of a best-of-3 series. It was a bittersweet victory, though, as the North American Soccer League folded after the season. The Sting continued playing indoor soccer through 1988 before ceasing operations. All in all, the Chicago Sting produced many outstanding and memorable moments during their 14 years of existence. From the early days in Soldier Field to the championship teams with a combination of world-class and young American players, the Chicago Sting was truly the thing to many Chicago sports fans. No question, but the Chicago Sting will always be remembered in Chicago sports history. I'm Howard Balson. Thank you for joining us for the year of the Big Sting.
Chicago with the ball out on the right wing in the attack third. Into the penalty area. David Dish puts a header on it in front of Granitza. Shot scored! Granitza puts Chicago playing a man short. Out in front.
Has the word on Rusi. Shoots. Score! Oh! Hato Marhetic! Happy birthday, Marhetic!
Granitza to Ingo Peter. Gets away from Tony Tower. Ingo drives a long one. He scores! An unbelievable shot by Ingo Peter. Granitza into the ball. He bends it. He scores! Karl Heinz Granitza has bent the ball into the far corner of the net.
Mr. Carpenter is clearing the penalty area. Here comes the kick. And it's into the net. New ball game. Picked up loose ball shot.